Welcome back. So we haven't done casual Q&A in a long time because, like for example, right now I'm traveling, I'm in this hotel, there's a lot of background noise, I don't know how to deal with it, gear, blah, whatever. But we'll do a little bit of Q&A out of the support forum today. Back to 2020 support forum. I'm really only doing case-by-case help in the support forum. If you're emailing me, I might answer some stuff, but generally speaking, it's do it yourself unless you're in back to 2020. Anyway, hopefully some of this stuff will help. First one from Ricardo. I found this action item on one of the lessons, but I've seemed to have lost instructions. Your average comfortable ergonomic distance from your screen. Can anyone clarify it for me? I talk about that a lot. Ergonomically comfortable distance. And all that means is when you're changing your diopters to work just for close-up. So in other words, when you're wearing glasses that are not meant for distance, that are meant for close-up, you want to make sure that you're getting something that doesn't affect your ergonomically comfortable distance. Meaning that if you get not enough diopters, you might start creeping closer to the screen, which might create neck strain, might create all kinds of other physical discomfort. That's not ideal. On the flip side, if you're wearing too much diopter correction, it might cause you to move back too far. Also not ergonomically ideal. So you want to make sure that the correction you choose to deal with your close-up distance that lets you see clearly, but introduces a blur horizon at the far end of that ergonomic distance is the right one. Very simple. Short version is just whatever you wear, make it so it doesn't force you to change how you sit. Cool. Next one. What do we have? This one's from David. Longer. We're going to skip all that. Just, do you recommend using reduced correction for all indoor vision homework or sticking with normal prescription correction? No prescriptions. So you have your differential, which is your reduced diopters for close-up, and you have your normalized, which is the higher diopter for distance vision. His question is, do you wear the reduced diopter correction for all indoor stuff, or do you only wear it for your primary close-up use? And the answer to that is, generally speaking, yes. The only time you use differential, the only time you use your close-up glasses is when you're doing your primary close-up distance work. So when you're staring at a screen for hours or book pages or whatever the case may be, that's the time you use a differential. The differential is dialed in for that ergonomically comfortable viewing distance. That's where you use it. And that's normally, for a lot of people, we're talking about 60 centimeters. So if you're wearing the differential for all your indoor time, you're going to introduce a lot of blur, and there's no benefit to being in blur. We talk about this a lot in other videos. I criticize the various online internet things for those kinds of fallacies. You don't want to be in blur. You don't want to habituate your visual cortex to be in blur. There's nothing positive about blur. On the other hand, lots of negatives. So in general, when you're done with your close-up work, wear your distance correction. Even if you don't need that full distance when you're indoors, it's still the right thing to wear. Only exception to that is if you're wearing your differential, you're working on your computer, you're done working on your computer, and you're finding that the differential is great for your indoor time, right? Like you're enjoying a little bit of focus challenge. You're still seeing clearly enough, but you have to challenge your eyesight, then wear it by all means. There's no definitive rule what you can and can't do. The only thing is that you don't want to force yourself to be in blur. So when you're done with close-up and you give yourself a little focus challenge during close-up, you have that blur distance, and you're done with close-up, perfectly okay to put on your regular distance vision glasses even indoors. Pretty straightforward. Let's do one more. This one is from Jay. So I just started back to 2020. I'm reading and watching the videos. I'll be doing more reading and watching today. I just want to say that I went and saw the optometrist 2 days ago, and he gave me -1 diopter for both eyes. I'm hoping that's just pseudomyopia. Maybe if I stick to it, I can get it resolved quickly. I'm sort of excited and ready to order glasses so I can start. Should I just go ahead and order 3 sets of glasses, 0.75, 0.5, and 0.25? No. Definitely not. We talk about this a fair amount. If you're doing it yourself, if you're figuring this out just using the blog, you want to read as much of the blog as possible before you take action. Quite important. And what you learn from that is 2 focal planes, 1 close-up, 1 distance, not 3, not 4. You don't want to start buying a bunch of stuff because then you have it and then you're going to be tempted to play around with it. You don't want a bunch of focal plane changes. You definitely don't, right? 2 focal planes. Don't be tempted. Also, in the -1 diopter range, really low myopia, we have a whole, I don't know if I'll remember to link it below, but there's a whole category in the blog just dedicated to low myopia because while it's technically the same, it's also a little bit different from average or high myopia in what you want to do. And in a case like this, don't wear the glasses when you don't need them, right? A -1, when you're in close-up, you don't need glasses, right? I mean, you could be as high as -2 diopter and not need glasses for close-up. If you don't need them, don't wear them, right? You're not going to need -0.75 because at -1 diopter, it's either bright enough outdoors and you're good at getting good at active focus to where you don't need glasses and you're not driving or doing anything that would require you to wear full correction, or there's not enough light or you're doing something like driving and then you need the glasses. But you can basically, at a -1 diopter, you can go -1 and nothing, right? Those can be your 2 focal planes. You either need the -1 or you don't need anything. And sometimes you want to wear the -1 because you want your visual cortex to be exposed to the full range of clarity that your eyes are capable of. You want to be habituated to that. You want yourself consciously to be seeking that amount of clarity. So that's a good thing. It's perfectly fine to wear them, but there's just times where you don't need them. When you don't need them, don't wear them. And this could get into a little bit of a longer answer where we could discuss occasional plus lens use, potentially, depending on your progress, a whole bunch of things. The important thing to note here is really at -1 diopter, 0.75, 0.5, and 0.25 are not something you'll probably ever need or benefit from in most cases. Of course, this is not optometry advice, this is not prescription advice, this is not advice of any kind. This is just one dude in his hotel room telling you stories. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if this is okay, because I really am not super comfortable with this potentially noisy casual thing, but you let me know if that's cool. See you in the next one.